Hey everybody, welcome to the Dungeoncast. I'm Brian.
And I'm William.
This is the podcast where we talk about everything tabletop role-playing games.
And today we are covering Elistraee, the Dark Dancer.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome, adventurers, to the Dungeoncast.
Hey, Ryan.
William.
How are you doing today?
I'm good, man.
That's good. Good
Our
to hear.
patient patrons.
Dude, it's been a while.
Yeah.
But we finally managed to get back to a patron-voted topic. Sorry, D&D 5.5 was happening alongside some other really important interviews. Guests, you should say.
Yeah.
That we couldn't exactly put off. So
They took precedent, and here we are, though, getting back to it. For anybody that hasn't heard, this will be our final episode of the Dungeoncast. We're calling it.
We're calling it.
Thank you, everybody who's been along for the ride at any point. We really appreciate you. If you want to know more, stick around to the end. We'll be talking about what happens next and what's going on with Patreon and YouTube and all that stuff. Any information that you guys are looking for,
It'll be there.
It'll be there. If you can't wait, you want to know right now, go to Discord, because we wrote some stuff in there.
Oh, yeah, there's
Or if you're a
posted notes
patron,
there.
you should probably already know about it, but
That's
you should
true.
check out the post on Patreon. But let's get into it.
Let's do it. So this particular topic has been a very long time coming, because we're going to be covering what may actually be the single most popular D&D in Forgotten Realms, despite the fact that she's a minor deity. People have been asking for this episode for an extraordinarily long time. So thank the patrons for forcing my hand, because I've been avoiding this episode because it was so meaty.
Chunky.
And it's, sometimes it's hard when I know something is super, super beloved and I don't personally know a lot about it. It's daunting, and I keep pushing it down the road. But here we are. It's happening today. So let's get into it. Elistraee is the chaotic good drow goddess of beauty, song, dance, freedom, moonlight, swordwork, and hunting within the drow pantheon known as the Dark Seldarine. She is the patroness and protector of dark elves who long to return to the surface and live there at peace with other races, and to abandon the endless conflicts and intrigues that dominate the lives of most drow through the goddess Lolth. She's often referred to as the Dark Maiden, the Lady of the Dance, or Lady Silverhair, and sometimes the Dark Dancer, among other titles. Briefly, she was known as the Masked Lady when her faith subsumed that of her brother, the Masked Lord Veyron. While the Seven Sisters, which are the seven immortal chosen of Mystra, there's always seven. I do believe that it is a rotating, if one dies, another one will be chosen.
I see.
Kind of deal.
There can only be seven.
My understanding is you usually only see them in Elminster episodes, because Elminster's also a chosen of Mystra, and he's the greatest wizard ever and all that stuff. So,
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, they nicknamed Elistraee the Dark Fire of Love.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So is this the antithesis to Lolth?
Yeah, in a lot of ways, she's everything anti-Lolth. Lolth demands violence. She demands subservience, and she has zero love for the Drow people, zero love for her own children, zero love for anybody not Lolth. And Elistraee is emblematic of the exact opposite. She is love incarnate, and she's caring and she's nurturing. She weeps for her children that are the Drow.
From what I understand about the Drow and how gods work in this game, it seems like Elistraee would be weak up front, because how many of the Drow could possibly worship?
Right. That's a very good point. And we're going to get into it, but
Cool.
Yeah, her entire storyline and her power level has been a roller coaster, but yeah, at no point has she really ever approached breaking out of being a minor goddess. And it's for that reason. It's for the reason of how many Drow can get away with worshiping her, or when most
and who else outside of the Drow is really going to be about this?
Right,
this
and then there's
character?
the fact that she is a Drow deity, and there's a lot of prejudice against the Drow
Exactly, yeah.
because of Lolth, and it's all rolled up into one. Yeah, so she is the direct daughter of Arashni, later Lolth, and Corellon Lorethian. So she is I guess you could say, in a different universe, she's the heir to the throne of all elven kind,
the chaotic embodiment.
Yeah, and she's a free-spirited and kind-hearted goddess with a fiery streak in her personality.
So Arashni was good first, right?
Well,
had motivations at least to,
Arashni
be evil.
Yeah, exactly. She follows the same story, a similar story to Satan in the Bible, where it's he's jealous of being second place. He doesn't like being in third. because right in Christian theology we got Jesus the second, God's first, Satan's third. Can't handle it. She can't handle being second to Coraline. Honestly, she's not even second to Coraline. But she's up there in the most powerful of the elven deities. But Coraline is like above and beyond all of them.
Yeah.
And she hates everything about him. She hates his smugness. She hates how confident and powerful he always is. He can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants. And she even hates that like he would give her everything she asked for. And she hates that she would have to ask for it. She'd rather take it.
Cool.
Yeah. Just pure jealousy and envy. That's kind of Lolth's deal.
All right.
So Elistraee was first created for the original home campaign run by Ed Greenwood himself. A quick reminder that Ed Greenwood is the original creator of the Forgotten Realms setting. Obviously, like dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of writers have had their hand in the setting now, but he is the all-father, if you will, who started it all.
The real IRL everything dad.
Indeed. This was at the behest of editor Newton. I'm thinking his name is pronounced Ewell or Ewell.
Yeah, I would say Ewell.
Who wanted a deity for good drow in the game. Greenwood used the opportunity to make the Dark Dancer official and added Elistraee to the drow of the Underdark book published in 1991. Greenwood originally designed Elistraee as a nurturing mother goddess, even a fertility goddess. The popular dancing naked under the moonlight aspect of the goddess and her faith was inspired by British traditions of fairies and was intended to show her as a non-warlike, non-violent, rather than a capricious deity like fairies would be.
Okay, yeah, nudity. That's a good way to do it.
The opposite of war, nudity.
Getting naked.
She could be a protector of her people and a terrific sword dancer, but she was intended to be a bard, not a huntress herself, only encouraging these skills in her followers in order to help them survive on the surface.
Oh, this is conflicting because there were no mechanical bards, right?
Well, there would have 1991.
By that point,
Remember,
there is.
Yeah, definitely,
Okay.
definitely. And bards came about pretty early. They just wouldn't have been in like the original box.
Yeah, you
know?
can manufacture a mechanical bard, but there were always bards.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then historically, there in the real life, there have always been bards.
Right.
To clear up any discrepancies, Elistraee is not a moon goddess like Selûne or Sahanin. She is just associated with being found under the moon.
She just likes that shit.
Yeah, she's associated with being found under the moon, as are her drow who steal onto the surface at night to escape their life under Lolth's suppression.
Oh, so they're doing a jailbreak situation under moonlight. Okay.
Yeah, because drow have
Sunlight
sensitivity, and also oftentimes they don't want to be found by surface dwellers because they might be killed on sight.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're very much like trying to smuggle themselves out.
Fantasy racism.
Yeah, exactly. Elistraee is most often depicted as a drow female of glowing beauty. She is tall, 9 feet.
Or 2.7 meters.
In height and lithe with graceful, strong limbs and glossy obsidian dark skin. She usually appears unclad, cloaked only by her long ankle-length hair that shines with a bright silvery hue, and by motes of moonlight that are ever dancing about her body.
Damn, Rapunzel style.
I know.
Well, almost. It's not dragging on the
very
ground.
long hair. That's very long hair. Her face bears a similarity to that of her mother, Lolth, once known as the most beautiful of all elves, as it possesses delicately sculpted features and shape, but her eyes are larger, with irises that hold the shifting hint of blue of a moonstone and expressive of her mood and emotions.
The hottest hot people.
Elves gotta be. When she speaks, her voice is said to carry a soft musicality that draws mortals instinctively to it. This attraction is not an enchantment or a charm. It does not cloud the mind. It is simply a sound of a truly beautiful song. Overall, the Dark Maiden's appearance is said to inspire utter awe and astonishment, as well as other emotions so deep many mortals are moved to tears. Those who contemplate and listen to Lady Silverhair are said to feel as if they have found the answer to all that their soul has ever longed for. But upon her leaving, these same mortals are said to experience a feeling of deep loss or even desolation, though only for a brief time.
Damn, I thought I had everything. It turns out I have nothing.
Damn. This feeling of blissful beauty that fades to a feeling of sorrowful loss is fitting, for it is very much reflective of the Dark Dancer's history of both grief and loss. Though she is a goddess who nurtures love, joy, passion, and freedom, her heart carries a deep melancholy rooted in her own personal loss and the suffering of her people. To better understand this, we need to go back to the goddess's youth in time nearly immemorial. For it was then that a host of evil deities assaulted her home in Arvander, and her mother, Arashni's treachery almost caused the downfall of the Elven pantheon and nearly made Elistraee slay her own father.
Right, the bow,
We've
the
heard,
arrow thing.
We've done this story a few times. We did it in the Coralon episode. We probably did it in the Wolf episode. I know we did it in the Sahanin episode.
Yeah.
And we're doing it again today.
Friendly fire.
So, ambitious traitors and envious of the authority that her consort Coralon had over the elven people, Arashni, with the cooperation of her son Veyron, gathered a host of deities who were opposed to the Seldarine, tricking them into assaulting Arvandor in an attempt to overthrow Coralon. The Weaver also tried to seduce Svenmeril Mistarin, the elven god of outcasts and rebels, to join her in the imminent rebellion. As her adulterous lover, he was initially tempted by her advances, but he ultimately declined the offer. It's not in here, but Svenmeril Mistarin is not even Lolth's only adulterous lover. Like by the time this happens, she's being adulterous with a lot of different deities from different pantheons.
Yeah, okay.
The only deity of Arvander who took steps to stop Arashni's plan before it could unfold was my girl Sahanin Moonbow, my favorite goddess. Through her connection to Moonlight, she had in fact witnessed the Weaver crafting a scabbard meant for Coralon, imbued the curse magic devised to bring defeat in battle to its owner. The item had been crafted by Arashni before a meeting between Coralon and Grumpsh that was supposedly meant to establish a terms of truce, but in truth, she had orchestrated with the orc god with the purpose of slaying her lover.
So close.
Yeah. Essentially, she does a curse on the scabbard so that when the sword is drawn, it loses its magic, and then Grumpsh shattered it.
Yeah, okay.
And then Sahanin refuses it and gives it back to Coralon.
So Grumpsh is in on
Grumpsh is in on
the
it,
game.
yeah,
It would not have come to...
Yeah, Grumpsh is one of the gods she was dallying with.
Right, okay.
So this
Nasty.
this attempt was a failure, and the sheath was lost in the battle, only to later be retrieved by Sahanin. Man, Sahanin's really on it. The Lady of Dreams, aware of Arashni's betrayal, but knowing how important her love was to Coralon, tried to dissuade Arashni from this madness. But the Weaver instead reacted violently, defeating and imprisoning the Moon Goddess with the aid of Veyron.
Okay.
With the only meaningful obstacle out of her way, Arashni and Veyron proceeded with their plan, working to lead Elistraee to find the cursed scabbard. They exploited the Dark Maiden's adoration for her father, knowing that she would have been more than eager to search for the sheath and overjoyed to return such a prized possession to him, making her the perfect scapegoat. When the attack began, Elistraee, whose skills in archery, scouting, and hunting were widely known amongst the Seldarine, was the first to spot the threat, allowing her father and the other elven deities to prepare a defense. The Dark Maiden took part in the battle, enthusiastic and proud to be able to fight by her father's side in defense of their home. As the heat of battle ensued, Gonadar, a greater god of abominations, oozes, and outcasts, believed to be touched by the far realm, made entry into Arvandor. And it's at this point that Coralon realizes that this outer threat to Arvander is actually come from within the Seldarine itself. It doesn't explain why, but the texts say that a being like Gonadar is so like such the antithesis of the heavens that it could only make its way to that plane if a truly evil thing already existed here. And that's all it says. There's no mechanics about how that works. But
so there's some material realm, or there's some outside of the far realm in the pantheon, like what
the outer planes.
Yeah, there's some anchor there, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
That allows entry.
Yes. Yeah, very much so, yes. So his sorrow grows even more intense when he realizes that it's Arashni. And he realizes her because he observes her, observing the battle from above with a look of triumph on her face. And he's like, you bitch. Seeing the distraction and shock on the Elven Lord, an ogre god takes advantage of the situation and charges towards Coralon's position. Elistraee acts swiftly to defend her father, loosening an arrow at the charging ogre god. But the young goddess was not aware that the scabbard that she had given her father, originally crafted for Coralon's sword, was imbued with a curse which magically drew the shaft of the arrow, changing its path instead to pierce the chest of her father. Seeing the scene from the skies, the Elven Goddess Eilistraee, unaware of all the plotting that's been going on, thinks that Elistraee is turning on her father, and strikes Elistraee down, incapacitating her. Despite Corellon being almost fatally wounded, the battle was ultimately won by the forces of the Sildarine. And as soon as the last invader was driven from Arvander, the Elven deities, still believing that the Dark Maiden could act against her father, gathered around the unconscious Elven Lord, trying to aid him and save his life. So it's then that Arashni, faking grief, puts into motion the second part of her plan. Pretending to do her best to save her lover, she tries to use a concoction of poisonous herbs prepared by Elistraee for arrows of the mortal dark elves to finish Corellon, passing it for a healing elixir made from the water of Elysium and healing herbs.
Just all kinds of crazy deception checks going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's critting most of them.
Critting them.
Yeah. So
in 30s.
Yeah, she hoped that her treachery would go uncovered, or she hoped that if her treachery was uncovered, she could still blame it on Elistraee because it was her potion that had done it.
Yeah.
So this plan may have worked had Sahani Mumbo not come back and managed to free herself from Rashni's imprisonment and intervene in time to save Corellon and free Elistraee from guilt.
Just slides under the ropes like a fucking WWE wrestler.
Hell yeah.
Fucking throws a pile driver down.
So after the Elven Lord Corellon regains consciousness and the truth is made clear, he makes the painful decision to banish all of the dark Elven deities for their roles in the war against the Sildarine. It doesn't get... Everything I've read doesn't get into the details, but like there are like 4 or 5 other drow gods that follow Arashni, and they were in on this in some way, but I couldn't find any texts that wrote about in what way.
Just doing tasks, going to the store, getting ice for the cooler for the party where they plan everything.
So Elistraee was cleared of any wrongdoing, considered only an unwitting participant, but regardless, she insisted upon sharing the punishment, for she foresaw that the Dark Elves would need a beacon of good within their reach and her help and support in times to come. Reluctant yet proud, Corellon concedes to her wish.
Dang.
So the entire, now what you would call the Dark Sildarine, all of them banished. After nearly slaying her own father with a misplaced arrow, Elistraee swears to never use ranged weaponry ever again, lest her missile go astray. Thereafter, the sword was the only weapon for her. Things do not improve for the young goddess in the aftermath of this exile, by the way.
Hold on a second before we move on to that.
Yeah.
So not everybody knows that it was a fakie, the arrow. Like, it just kind of looked like she like, oh, I must have fucking missed and shot my dad. So like it never got found out.
No. So no, she gets cleared. She gets cleared of wrongdoing.
Okay. She's just like, fuck it, just in case.
Sahanine's like, no, Elistraee didn't do it. This fucking scabbard's cursed. Look, and elf magic stuff.
But she's still like, she's still like, fuck it, I'm never doing an arrow again in case there's cursed scabbard around.
Yeah. She's just,
I won't be had twice.
She looks at an arrow and she looks at a bow and she remembers. And she's like,
bummer.
I want nothing to do with bows. Bows are ruined for me now.
The PTSD of the gods.
Indeed, yeah. So things don't improve very much for her in the aftermath of this exile. After her exile, the Dark Maiden wandered Toril, the same world that the elves had chosen as their home. For centuries, she fought Veyron's corruption of the Elistraee, which was a realm of dark elves during the Dawn Ages. So this is before they go underground.
Okay.
This is when the dark elves are still in total favor of the Sildarine. There's no discernment between high elves, wood elves, dark elves, none of that. Elves are elves, but there are the sub races. They do exist, but that's inconsequential.
They find some godly meadow and they decorate it like a hot topic.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So it's called Irithyll, I believe it's called. And the people from there are the Elistraee. So, but Veyron's, Elistraee's brother, Lolth's son, is corrupting the Elistraee. She's attempting to thwart his efforts to gain influence all of the Dark Elves of the South. Elistraee had in fact foreseen that the influence of Veyron and her mother would lead all elves to war against each other, and she worked to prevent that. Spoiler alert, it failed. There were 4 crown wars. It was terrible.
Oh no.
Elistraee eventually managed to gain some followers in Elistraee, but her strength wasn't enough for her to prevail. On the contrary, she and her followers became hunted by the Masked Lord in the Elistraee, and the conflict allowed Gonadar to rise and gain influence over the Dark Elves as well, posing an even greater threat than Veyron. And then Lolth's attention turned to the Dark Elves. So the way this part of the story is told is Lolth got straight banished to the Abyss at this point. And it was there that she ends up slaying the spider monster that's the demon lord of that lair and taking on his thing. She becomes obsessed with spiders, and she tries to emulate them in all ways.
She suffered some madness down there.
Yeah,
Became
definitely.
spiders.
Yeah. And specifically demon spiders she's trying to emulate.
She's like, I've always loved centaurs.
Yeah.
But now I also love spiders.
So while that's happening, her children and the rest of the Dark Seldarine are all doing their own thing. And Elistraee is trying to keep it under control, but she's failing. But it's Gonadar getting mixed up in this that somehow like flags Lolth, and she's like, wait a minute. She's like, the Dark Elves still exist, and look what's happening. She's like, I have an opportunity here.
Okay.
And so Lolth comes into the picture, and once she comes in the picture, it's all downhill. So where was I?
Crown War?
Crown Wars happen. War against you. Sorry, give me a second. And then Lolth's attention turned to the Dark Elves of Toril. Her power rose fast, contributing to the decline of the Masked Lord and the further marginalization of Elistraee. So like I said, she shows up and it's pretty much over as soon as it begins. The goddess Elistraee did eventually start to make some progress as Dark and Green Elves refugees founded the realm of Mieritar, I'm going with, where the Dark Maiden's faith came to be concentrated, and she became a major patroness of the nation, which would flourish and grow into an important center of arts and magic. However, the following centuries inflicted blow after blow to Elistraee and her followers. During the Crown Wars, she would only mitigate the growing control of Lolth, Veyron, and Gonadar over the Dark Elves. Then in negative 10,500 DR, which is Dale Reckoning, which is basically
Whatever that is.
it's basically like 12,000 years before the current date in Forgotten Realms, is what I'll say.
Okay.
The Dark Disaster occurred. A magical cataclysm unleashed by the elves of Arivandar. I'm thinking that they're emulating Arvandar, but it's
Yeah, Ari Vandar.
Arivandar. Caused the death of many of Elistraee's people in Mieritar, severely weakening the goddess's power.
Yeah,
So-
you can do what America does and go like New York or whatever, or
Right.
you could just add letters to the existing
Exactly.
name.
There you go. So basically, though, Elistraee finally starts getting some traction. She has some followers. She's growing in power, and then this happens and just obliterates her following.
Dang.
So meanwhile, Lolth and Gonadar gain great influence amongst the Dark Elves, culminating in the negative 10,000 DR. When the Seldarine and the elves gathered at the Elven court, they cursed and exiled all Dark Elves for their war crimes, basically, including Elistraee's followers. There was no discerning, or it was indiscriminate. There we go. Turning them into the Drow. This is where they stop being called Dark Elves and start becoming called Drow. This harsh punishment was motivated by the corruption that Lolth and the demon Wendonai were spreading amongst the noble houses in Elistraee. So yeah, they were. It wasn't just the Crown Wars and the war crimes. It was like you guys are literally like drinking demon blood and like getting real chaotic evil over there.
The terrible collaborations that,
Yeah.
the ritualistic collaborations that maintain your evil.
Yeah, and by the worship of Lolth, who was at the time also a demon and still is a demon. So like it is still demon worship that had begun to spread amongst the Elistraee. Ultimately, Elistraee could not rival Lolth's power, and the Spider Queen became the major deity of the Dark Elves. After this event, Lolth's and Gonadar's persecution of worshippers of rival deities further marginalized the influence of the Lady of Dance for millennia.
Sheesh.
So things just don't go well for Elistraee.
Right. She just has to sit in the corner
Yeah.
for a while.
So Elistraee could find no reprieve. At one time, she found an unlikely protege in her nephew god, Selvatarm, who was the son of Veyron and of another deity known as Zandalar the Dancer, who later fused with another goddess and then became a different goddess.
Yeah.
We're not going to get into that.
They do shit like that
They
all
do
the
that,
time.
yeah. But so Selvatarm is kind of like this son of these evil deities, but he spurns both of his parents and decides to walk alone in contemplation for centuries, neither good nor evil. After Elistraee found and befriended him, Selvatarm came to admire her goodness and appreciate her teachings, and the two grew close to each other. A hope was sparked in the Dark Maiden's heart that her nephew could become an exemplar and aid her in healing the rift between the Dark Elves and the Seldarine. However, Said hope and friendship ended in the late 3rd century when Lolth tricks Silvatarm into slaying Xanasu, a demon lord whom Lolth considered her rival, as he claimed to have power over spiders, and she was not about to let that go. So Lolth promises Silvatarm that doing this deed will gain him great admiration of Elistraee. But Silvatarm was, in the end, not strong enough and overwhelmed by the demonic essence of the demon lord, and he fell wholly to evil, ending up as Lolth's champion. So
Great.
Damn, what a blow.
Just converted right there. Again.
Horrible.
A second usurp of any kind of traction she's trying to get.
Yeah. So, and finally, after the descent of the Drow, Elistraee tried to be a mother goddess to her people and bring them the hope of a new life. She fought to lead them back to the lands of light, helping them to flourish and prosper in harmony with other races, free from Lolth's tyranny and the conflicts that dominated their lives. But hers was an uphill battle, as her power was little and she was opposed by all of the gods of the Dark Soldarine.
Dang.
But it has been a hard battle to endure, one that weighs the goddess down at times, but Elistraee has never given up fighting for her people. Instead, the hardship has taught her to search for and nurture beauty everywhere, even in places like the Underdark where it doesn't seem to belong. Elistraee fights her melancholy by striving to bring hope and joy where there is sorrow, so that no moment is lost to gloom, and to make life flourish wherever she goes. She has learned to find happiness and peace in arts, especially music and dance, in simple things like seeing artists compose and perform, craftsmen at their work, and people doing acts of kindness.
Aww.
So she especially takes delight in helping the needy in various practical ways, with a soft spot for outcasts, and in blessing artists with sudden bursts of creativity and inspiration. Elistraee values love in all its forms, be it passion and dedication towards something or someone, the act of deep unselfish love, longing, noble sacrifice, love-making, and love and loyalty towards one's family and kin. She loves love.
Yeah. She'll watch you. She'll help you out.
As a young goddess, Elistraee was a free spirit with an unpredictable temper. Even as she matured, these traits never really left her. She has a fiery streak and is prone to wild action, especially in protection of her faithful when they are harmed. The evil that is inflicted upon and perpetuated by Lolth's Drow causes a burning anger within her, one that could cause her to lash out, but she is comforted by those that work their way free of the Spider Queen's web.
Just got to get out of there.
Yeah.
So this is the Drizzt
Of
goddess.
goddesses.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
She probably really likes him.
I think they do have a strong relationship, but I'm not a Drizzt expert, as we've discussed on this show. So I can't say for sure, but I want to say that he might have even been her chosen at some point. But I'm sure we'll be told in the comments. Let's take a short rest.
We've returned.
Indeed we have.
We're fucking back.
Indeed we are.
Dude. This is where we do a Patreon update. So our Patreon's going to stay open through the end of the year, December. We are working on the season finale of Unhallowed. It's one session away from being completed in recording stages, and there's a plan to roll out the post-production aspects, so those will be up there. That'll be our final Patreon project, and I'll be putting anything pending up there within the next couple months in the meantime, so that there will be content, although no new episodes, but we will have stuff going up that I've owed you guys for a while. It's I'll have some time to work on it. So yeah.
Also, the final version of the Dungeoncast Patreon Ranger is there. Mm-hmm. If you guys are interested,
seems to be
go there. It's open to anybody if you're a
feedback.
patron. Like, you can be a free patron and still have access to it. It is getting good feedback. I'm very proud of it. I'm very pleased by the participation of the patrons and the excellent suggestions. I think we have literally made the best 5e Ranger that's ever existed. Just my personal opinion. So if you want it, go to the Patreon and check it out. It's a free download.
Yeah, we'll still be there. We're gonna move everything down to like our lowest tier. And,
yeah, that's true.
You know, so you'll have access to everything that has been on the Patreon and will be on the Patreon through the end of the year, including season one Unhallowed. So
yes,
keep an eye out for that.
Indeed.
Discord will also still be open. The mods have decided that they want to continue to maintain that community there. It's a great place just to talk D&D.
Absolutely.
And for anybody that, if you're watching old episodes, I'm sure Will and I will still be in there at some capacity.
Yeah.
If you guys want to chat, that's where to find us. Our socials, I think, are going to stay idle, but not deleted for a while at least. So we'll be able to tell you about any future projects that we'll be on. So, just keep your ear to the ground. We'll be around.
We will be. You ready?
Yes.
Let's do it. All right. The Dark Maiden is particularly close to her followers, if that hasn't kind of been already alluded to. Aside from providing practical help in their everyday life, she is known to offer comfort and support in various ways, including listening to them as they let out or vent their personal emotions and experiences. When the right time comes, she personally accompanies her followers who don't die in battle to their afterlife in a moving celebration known as the Last Dance. Now, I don't know exactly why it's particularly not in battle, except to say I think very much like old Norse religion, where if you died in battle, you got to go to Valhalla.
Yeah.
It might be something along those lines of like those souls are kind of the purview of different other gods, so she doesn't really get involved with those.
Okay. The Mambo number 5 plays, and you have to cha-cha down the aisle.
Absolutely. It is said that Elistraee does not test her followers, as the challenges of life are enough to test themselves. She values the intent behind their actions more than the actual success. Moreover, Elistraee refuses to act as a commander. She sees herself fit to give advice and to help in practical ways to uplift and make people fulfill their potential, but never to give them orders.
That's a nice parenting style. She's like, life's hard, man. I'm not going to come. You're not going to have to come home from school and get yelled at. It's cool.
Right. Though focused on the Dark Elves, Elistraee accepts folks of all races who dance along her path, who delight in life and in the freeform expression of it in all its forms. She fights so that all races can live peacefully together, helping and accepting each other despite their differences, and strongly believes in the possibility of redemption for those who have fallen to evil, especially the Drow. Her most common physical sign she sends her followers is a silvery radiance, sometimes accompanied by a piece of song or a few echoing notes of a harp. That can also take the form of a handful of dancing moonbeams or moon motes. But
if she's watching you make love and then all of a sudden there's some silvery radiance, you're gonna think something happened early. You gotta be careful. Yeah,
Elistraee, what the fuck? Elistraee uses this light to assist her people. She is known to use it as a beacon guiding those lost in the woods, to shine a light on something dropped in the dark, or to generally guide those who see the manifestation. She also uses it to bless a worshiper in various ways. Swords enveloped by the silvery light cannot be broken or damaged and strike with maximum force.
Whoa.
All us dice rollers know what that means. Such weapons strike more accurately and can wound even creatures that need magic to be harmed.
Okay, so if you're in a bad spot, that's a cool Deus Ex Machina when your non-magical attacks aren't working, but all of a sudden your weapons are silvered by Elistraee's moon chiss.
Basically. Her song is another iconic manifestation of the Dark Maiden. She uses it as a calling to the Drow, luring them towards a different life. However, and whenever the goddess appears, her song is heard. It is a tune of unearthly beauty, moving many to tears, but also a sweet and tempting lullaby or the soothing voice of a loving mother. At times, Elistraee will appear in person to show her favor, give a blessing, or hearten her followers. Mortals lucky enough to see her always hear her tune, but usually only glimpse her from afar, balanced atop a distant hillock or battlement, with her silver hair flowing behind her. At times, she can also appear during celebrations dedicated to her, leaping inside the flames of bonfires, and manifest herself by night, cloaked and cowled, and with her radiance dimmed to travelers in woodlands.
It reminds me of Ho-Oh from Pokemon.
Yeah?
Yeah, when Ash and Pikachu got beat up by Spearows.
Yeah.
See Ho-Oh.
He does.
Yeah.
He does see Ho-Oh.
And then he wished to be a child forever so he could become a Pokemon master.
Absolutely.
And that's why he's 10 for all eternity.
Forever.
And that's why he can lift 80 kilogram Pokemon, just like no problem.
Can he? What does he lift?
It looks like a Larvitar. I don't know what the kilograms on a Larvitar is, but it's like so
rock one.
They just keep talking about how Ash is like super fucking strong for no reason.
He has been training with Pokemon for like 20 years.
There's a scene where he throws like a tree that has been logged.
Really?
Yeah, he like lifts it and throws It's like it's like a tree trunk, bro. It's
That's
fucking
weird.
crazy.
Okay.
Ash is unnaturally strong because of Ho-Oh.
Absolutely. I subscribe. The sound of a high and distant hunting horn is another sign associated with the Dark Maiden. She is known to conjure it to rally or hearten her followers, or to scare off bandits or orc raiders who are fooled into believing that reinforcements are coming for those harassed. When there are no enemies about, worshippers take the sound of the horn to mean there is something close by that needs their aid. So it kind of works both ways. Elistraee demonstrates her favor and happiness through the discovery of particular minerals or gems like mithril, moonbars, moonstones, and silver, or with the sudden inspiration to write a beautiful song or poem, or to craft a magnificent sword for those who have the ability. So basically, she just inspires people to do the cool things they like to do.
Okay.
The Dark Dancer can also let her displeasure be known, and does so by making a cold breeze rise, by making the disfavored ones feel a chill in their hands or feet, through a sudden lack of inspiration or talent in any form of art, or through the failure to catch anything while hunting.
Dang.
I mean,
She's there for you.
yeah, absolutely. The Dark Maiden sings her call to all Dark Elves, from the highest matron mother to the lowest male slave, sending them dreams or visions, showing them a different, better life and the beauty of the world. Lolth is powerless to stop these visions, as too much interference from two goddesses can easily bring a mortal's mind to insanity.
What the fuck does Lolth care? I guess her constituents
do it
need
to
to be
everybody.
like somewhat okay.
Yeah, like if Elistraee is doing this to everybody and she tries to stop her with everybody, it's just going to break everyone's brains.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's fucking mental guerrilla warfare.
Basically. And despite her continued effort to suppress any knowledge of her daughter, the Drow definitely come to feel the Dark Dancer at some point in their lives with varying reactions.
You got that one guy that keeps talking about he needs a vacation. They start, all the other Drow are like, listen to them dreams.
Yeah.
No vacations here.
While many either do not understand their dreams and emotions, or choose to ignore, disbelieve, or reject them, many others secretly yearn for the goddess and all that she wishes for them. In fact, it is not unusual for them, if they think they can get away with it without the knowledge of a priestess of Lolth, to choose to spare the life of a worshipper of Elistraee, decline to tell other Drow that they've seen their activities, or even linger to watch one of their dances rather than breaking it up. That said, despite those feelings, not many Drow can find the strength and resources to make the final step and leave their past behind to cleave to Elistraee on their own. Furthermore, the Dark Maiden's efforts are opposed by the power of Lolth and the other evil Drow gods, and what she can do for them is very limited. So, under the original Great Will cosmology, Elistraee had her home in Svartalheim, the Drow domain in I know how to say this, hold on. Nidavellir, the third layer of the plane of Isgard, all based on Norse mythology, if you hadn't heard of that.
I recognize the Isgard word.
Yeah, Isgard, Nidavellir, and Svartalheim are all realms of Yggdrasil in Norse mythology.
Okay. Just a quick lift.
Yeah. Svartalheim was an underground realm of tunnels heated by hot springs, characterized by precious or semi-precious minerals and subterranean forests that only needed heat to live. Under the world tree cosmology, Elistraee had her home in Arvandor, a plane of natural beauty, with the elven gods of the Seldarine. Within its borders, the night was perpetual, with the moon ever shining in the deep blue sky. Faith was more potent there than in the rest of Arvandor, and all followers of other Drow gods of the Dark Seldarine suffered minor impediments. Her realm was small, however, as she split her divine energy between it and another small domain within the demon web pits, home of the other Drow gods of the Dark Seldarine, but that location was pretty much completely abandoned.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because she can't spend time there. It'll corrupt her.
Right, okay.
So, after the Spell Plague,
Shout out to the Spell Plague.
and the introduction of the World Axis cosmology, so 4th edition, Elistraee's realm within Arvandor continued to exist, and finally, after the Second Sundering, which is, hey, we're 5th edition now, the planes were rearranged under the Great Will cosmology once again, and the Dark Dancer made herself a humble home in the underground of Isgard, which goes by the name of the Court of the Dance.
Okay. A lot of dance.
She's a dance goddess.
Yeah.
So Elistraee's allies are the Elven gods of the Seldarine, as well as Mistra, Selune, Larue, Maliki, Hala Brightaxe, Kalardarin, Smooth Hands.
What?
Smooth Hands, and the other good deities of the Underdark races. So I know all of these except for Kalardaran Smooth Hands. I don't know who that is. Can someone please tell us who that is?
Make them prove it.
Prove it.
How smooth are they?
I'm betting it's a good deep gnome deity. That's my guess. I'm guessing.
Oh,
That's you want to take a bet?
no, no.
All right. Elistraee is surprisingly close to the human goddess of magic, Mystra. Mystra commands her followers to promote the growth of magic everywhere, which includes encouraging the development of spellcraft among races with high affinity to magic like the Drow and nurturing them. It is a reason for the Lady of Mysteries to choose the Dark Maiden as a friend, and the relationship has continued even after the human wizard Midnight took Mystra's mantle. I guess we can kind of talk a little bit about it here. We've talked about it before. So only male drows in Lolth society are allowed to be arcane practitioners. Lolth forbids females from doing it.
Yeah,
and
they're just
it's like also it's barely tolerated. It's barely tolerated because it's useful, but also they don't like how it gives the males any type of power.
Right.
And often males seek it because it's like the one way to not be a slave is to be good at magic. So,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And all the girl drow are just muscle mommies, right? That's like
Some of them, a lot of them are, but when we talk about the upper echelons, they're priestesses. It's like a priest caste.
But they're not doing magic. They're doing
Divine magic.
It's different than.
Yeah, which is different from arcane magic.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So when it comes to the matriarchy, it's muscle mommies and priestesses, and then the one reprieve the males have is like if you could do magic, you can have some extra freedoms.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Pick a card, any card.
Right. Even though the Dark Maiden and the Sildarine are allies, their relationship is a difficult one because of the division between the elves and the dark elves, and because of the perception that many elves have of dark elves. This is especially true for Severash, the elven deity of revenge, loss, and hatred of the drow.
There you go.
I mean, I guess, yeah. He's like, this is a third of what I do. Sorry. With whom Elistraee has barely managed to keep an uneasy truce. Elistraee is polite to all of the elven powers, but she is only close to Erevan Elistraee.
Yeah.
The elven god of mischief and rogue. So, naturally the one who likes to break the rules.
They can be friends.
Yeah, this is one of the toughest ones in general, just because Elistraee, it makes a lot of sense from Elistraee's point of view. It's like, look, I'm not guilty. And I get a pass because you know me. Mm-hmm. But you guys are generalizing an entire race because of what people did thousands and thousands of years ago. So it's a tense relationship.
Yeah,
for a lot of reasons.
That.
Yeah. Elistraee's enemies are the drow gods of the Dark Sildarine, namely Karansali, the drow lesser goddess of revenge and undeath, Gonadar, her nephew Silvatarm, drow god of warriors and battle prowess, her brother Veyrun, for a while at least. This is kind of not the case anymore, and especially her own mother Lolth. She also counts as foes the other evil deities of the Underdark like Deep Duara, Lotiger, Blipdulpoop.
Oh my god, it's back.
It's back. The Blood Queen, Din Karazhan, and Dirinka. I don't know who they are. The Great Mother, that's the Beholder goddess. Zemnid, Ilsensine, Ilzendren, Legzed, and Manzikorian. Those are all, I believe, Illithid deities.
Holy shit.
Before his death. Oh, he's not even around anymore. She also counts as an enemy Malar, a rival and evil god of the hunt in the surface world. And goddamn if Diggy's not right, Malar just shows up everywhere. He just sticks it. Hey, I'm here too. Everywhere. It's crazy.
And me.
How did I never notice? I never noticed it until Diggy told us, and I'm like, yeah, fuck, he's right. He's right.
We should have been shouting out Malar.
We should have been.
Fuck.
He's been sneaking into our show for years.
We didn't even notice. No one's noticed except for Diggy.
Lolth, though, is Elistraee's chief enemy. The Dark Maiden is infuriated by her mother's evil and corruption and constantly strives to help the drow break free from her oppression and find their way back to the surface world.
Okay.
Lolth has ordered the persecution of all worshippers of the Dark Maiden and the suppression of all information and records about her. The Spider Queen's clergy work to hide Elistraee's existence to the drow, fearing the impact that such knowledge can have on the status quo. They are particularly wary of the Dark Maiden's call that can lure the Dark Elves to the surface and show them the beauty of a kind of life that they are denied, and do all they can to prevent the drow from hearing and feeling it, afraid that they will choose to follow it and abandon the way of Lolth.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah. So the relationship between Elistraee and her brother Veyron is drastically changed over the ages. After her self-imposed exile, the Dark Maiden fought Veyron's warmongering influence on the Dark Elves in Elistraee before the Fourth Crown War. After the descent of the Drow, while the two of the siblings shared certain goals, their views on how to achieve them clashed. Elistraee wished the Drow to peacefully return to the surface and build friendships with other races, while Veyron wanted the Drow to claim back the ancient prestige of Elistraee through violence and conquest.
Okay. Fuck.
Yeah.
Elves are crazy.
Yeah, they are. The Dark Maiden does not hate her brother, but is saddened by his cruelty and selfishness. Nonetheless, their conflict eventually escalated when Veyron's plan to assassinate her backfired.
Oh.
Which, dude, fuck you, by the way. Why would you assassinate your sister? She's so nice. And, well, anyways, it backfired. He died. And she and she took his portfolio for a little bit.
Okay.
But then, and then the spell plague happened and she died. But then the second sundering happened and everyone got back to life.
Uh-huh.
Yay, D&D.
Cool.
And now they have an understanding. As a consequence, they are closer and have become more open to each other's ways and goals. They have reached a truce and even friendship, although some of their followers still remain foes and skirmish often.
I see.
So Elistraee is served by the many beings and creatures whom she also sends as her agents. Aasimar, Asuras, Eladrin, Mercury dragons, elven cats, face stags, holophants, incarnates of faith and hope. That one's vague. Mist dragons, moon dogs, moon horses, pixies, radiants, quasi-elementals, revered ones, silver dogs, silver dragons, sprites, sunflies, silver striped tabby caps, and normal looking animals with solid silver colored eyes.
What the fuck is with all the cats?
There's a lot of detail.
Randomly? All of a sudden, there's all these cats.
There's all these cats. I don't know. Silver moths can also be used as messages from the goddess.
All right. The fucking Mothman shows up and is like, hey, listen, come over to these bushes. I have a message from the gods.
Message for you. The worshippers of Elistraee most consist of those drow who hope to escape the danger and darkness of the Underdark and Lolth's evil, taking back their place in the surface world. However, in line with her ideals, Elistraee will welcome beings of all races, though among her non-drow followers, elves, humans, and especially half-elves are the most numerous. Her followers share the desire of seeing all races living in harmony without pointless discrimination or wars and work towards that goal. Elistraean, I like that. There we go. Elistraean communities are often a matriarchal nature. However, differently from Lolth's, theirs is a nurturing matriarchy meant to empower all males and females alike to thrive on the surface world and characterized by a very loose hierarchy. In fact, the clerics of Elistraee, commonly known as sword dancers, act as an extension of Elistraee's own motherhood of the drow, taking the role of teachers, protectresses, and diplomats.
If they dance in front of you, or if you do the dance yourself after learning it, you get a +2 on all your attack rolls.
Absolutely.
Is that a good joke?
I mean,
it's a Pokemon reference. It's sword dance.
Oh my goodness. I missed that one, but yeah, it's a good one.
I thought you would have got it.
I know, right? Yeah. But no, I've been off the Pokemon train for so long now.
Yeah.
What even is a Pokemon?
It fucking sucks is what it is. No one likes Pokemon our age anymore. Well, they do, but
just
also
gone in a direction I don't care for. But anyways, we're not getting into that. Elistraee.
No, we are. Fuck Game Freak and the Pokemon Company and Wizards of the Coast.
All of them.
And Hasbro. Fuck all 4 of those motherfuckers.
All of them.
I hate all you guys. Ruining my favorite shit.
I know, right? The priestesses teach their people to learn to live and forge their own path in a hostile world and to rediscover a sense of belonging and community. They also protect their people from danger and build a place for them to live by establishing friendships and relationships with other races. The Elistraeans are also known to offer aid and shelter to those who come asking them, no matter their race, and even to actively travel to other places in order to bring food, cures, arts, and practical help where there is need of it, and to those met along the way. Many followers of Elistraee, and especially her clerics, strive to learn and promote the arts, with a soft spot for music and dance, as well as teaching them and passing along the knowledge of particular pieces, songs, or dances learned during travels or created by them. Those who do not know an art are instead known to support bards by hiring them when they can afford it to promote joy and merriment in their communities and during their travels.
Gotta have music if you go and dance.
It's so true. That said, despite their efforts, the faithful of Elistraee are little known and poorly understood by inhabitants of both the realms above and the Underdark. Her worshippers are figures of myth and superstition and are targets of prejudice and wild mistruths. Some surface dwellers believe they are the disguised vanguard of the spider goddess's plan to take over the surface, while those drow who follow Lolth or other evil deities suspect them of being surface elf spies and saboteurs posing as drow as a prelude to an invasion. So most non-elves cannot comprehend the existence of a good drow deity, while surface elves are uncomfortable considering it, finding Elistraee a threat to their doctrine that the Dark Elves were wholly to blame for the Crown Wars and other ancient tragedies.
You know, they don't talk about this in the lore, but all the drow are forced to hold in their farts by Lolth. So they don't want to like incur these Underdark wraths, but Elistraee gives them dreams of farting above surface. Like, you can come up here and fart.
Christ, please.
The air just blows it away, and there's no monsters. I mean, there's monsters, but the farts don't summon. You can come up here and fart.
Truly heaven.
You've been holding it all your life. Come up here and fart.
It's hilarious. Elistraee's holy symbol was formerly a longsword, standing vertically with the point upward, outlined against a full moon, which was surrounded by a nimbus of filaments representing her hair, all in silver. However, a more elaborate variant that entered common usage from 1372 DR.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, it's Dale Reckoning. So that's like...
Who the fuck is Dale? I'm just kidding.
That's like, I want to say like 100-ish years before the present date. Anyways... They got it
after Dale died on the cross in Forgotten Realms.
There's a new variant of there is a new holy symbol which depicts a nude female drow with long hair bearing a silver sword and dancing before the full moon. I wonder why that one's more popular. Moving on. Elistraee's identity.
You want to see my holy symbol? I bet you do.
Elistraee's identity as a nurturing and artistic goddess shows in her magic and skills. Despite having access to all kinds of magic, she focuses on powers relating to nature, life, creation, and enchantment. She is also an excellent crafter and weaponsmith and can freely create almost any magical item pertaining to beauty, music, moonlight, hunting, or sword work.
I bet the clerics of Elistraee have like pissing contests about who has the most like lore accurate naked Elistraee holy symbol.
Yeah,
there's a convention once a year to see who like made the best one.
Absolutely. Furthermore, before being a warrior or a huntress, Elistraee was first and foremost a bard and an artist.
A bardist.
A bardist. She was a sublime dancer and singer, a terrific acrobat, and a brilliant musician. Her art had the power to elicit intense emotions in her allies and foes alike, or to inspire courage, dispel uncertainty and hopelessness, and enhance her allies' focus. She delights in performing, and she is the beauty, and such is the beauty she creates that it can even move beings who are normally incapable of feeling emotions, or that could shrug them off due to training, magic, or nature.
She was probably one of the original Sublime dancers, not Sublime with Rome. Sorry, I got it. This is it. This is a home stretch. We got to do all the jokes.
I mean, you come up with them quick, man. Elistraee's iconic magic, the spell song, is a melody capable of physically healing, creating, and protecting, and allows its practitioners to travel to places far away and see the world. That said, while her warrior skills come second to her bardic magic and artistic abilities, Elistraee can indeed fight. She is a protectress to her people, who wields a bastard sword, combining the agility of her dance with the lethality of her swordplay.
Oh, wow. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. Her hunting skills and precision as an archer are also undeniable, like her knowledge in matters of magic, nature, and faith. Yeah, you were picturing her with like a one hand dancing, but no, she's got a two hand and she's going for it.
Jeez, yeah. Just fucking swanging that thing. No more bows, though.
No more bows, though.
You can't deny it. She shot one so good, it almost killed her dad.
It's very true. Finally, along with all the standard powers and godly senses of a deity of her rank, the Dark Dancer can instantly become aware of threats posed to good aligned drow, to her followers, or to drow thinking of rejecting the faith of the deities, the Dark Seldarine. That's my favorite one, because she's like, oh, you're thinking about it? Hi, my name's Elistraee. Nice to meet you.
That's good.
Do you like dancing naked under the moon?
Hey, how about that?
In battle, she has been seen wielding either two identical singing swords of dancing +3, or a single blade, the moon sword, a +5 dancing keen bastard sword.
Wow. It's a good sword.
It's a good sword. Very good sword. I'd love to have a character with that sword.
With a moon sword?
Yeah, with a +5 dancing keen bastard sword? Fuck yeah.
Would it be a crescent shape, or would it be like a full moon, like it's a circular blade?
Crescent. Definitely crescent.
It had to be a crescent. Yeah. There's a cool fuse item in Tears of the Kingdom that's a circle. It's like the top of somebody's headdress, but it's like You put it on the sword becomes round. It has a little point on the top, but yeah.
Well, I'm used to Moonblades from Final Fantasy, which are essentially like, what do you call them, chakram, where you throw them.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
That's the Moonblade I'm familiar with from
cool.
Final Fantasy, yeah. But that's it. That's the rundown on Elistraee, the probably most popular goddess out there. I'm sure there's going to be people who love this episode, and there's going to be people who are like, you got her all wrong.
Oh, what?
You didn't even get the XYZ from this novel.
We don't read Forgotten Realms, so fuck off about it already.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't have to hold back. Fuck off. The novels are stupid.
They're not stupid. Okay, hold on. I got to stop you there. The novels are fine. I don't have time, and I'm not that interested in them.
Some of them are dumb.
I have read some Forgotten Realms, and I'm sure some of them
they can't all be
good.
There's a lot of them.
There's so many.
Come on. I recognize that there's good literature in this genre for these books.
Absolutely.
But I'm just tired of hearing about it now.
Me too.
Now I get to tell him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You tell him, Brian. You tell him.
I got him.
All right. Is there any questions? Anything you got?
Good job, patrons. This is a good topic.
Yeah, good topic. I hope you're happy with my take on Elistraee.
There was no Demogorgon in this episode.
No, not a single one.
Shout out to Demogorgon anyway.
All right, with that, let's get ready to go to the tavern.
Yeah, we'll do a tavern talk. I don't know what it looks like this time, but here we go. Hey everybody, welcome to Tavern Talk. These are the final slippies. This one shoots the Kamehameha on the right.
Final slippies.
This one, who's the artist that does that song?
Genesis.
This one has the lead singer's face of Genesis on it.
Who is the lead singer for Genesis?
I have no idea. While I was looking that up, like we said at the top of the episode, this is the last one. So thank you guys so much for all your support over the years. We really, really appreciate it, especially to anybody that has contributed monetarily. You put those dollars in our pockets, and it changed the studio and our equipment, and it changed our lives and put us on a trajectory where we'll be content creators, I'm sure, for a while to come at least. So let's jump into some.
Hold on. Genesis. Phil Collins was in that band.
Oh, hell yeah.
Peter Gabriel and Ray Wilson. They were all lead singers.
What the fuck? Wow.
Apparently it was a super band. Anyways, sorry.
They got a super song.
Yeah, indeed.
At least one of them. I'm going to read off of this list and then switch over to the emails. So hopefully we encapsulate everybody that has come in. It's been a long time since we've read these, so it's going to be a long list. And then we'll talk about, we'll get to it. Let's just get through this. We got Allie Moore.
Thank you, Allie.
Mark S.J.
Oh, it's Europe, by the way. It's not Genesis. My bad.
Oh.
Sorry.
Quick retcon.
Yeah. So lead singer of Europe. I'm going to find that out. Keep going.
Final retcon.
Europe. Lead singer. Go ahead. Keep going.
We got Mark S.J.
Joey Tempest, by the way. Thank you, Mark S.J. Thank you, Mark S.J. Sorry.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark S.J. It's a tear in space.
A tear in space.
There we go. It's been a while. Yeah. Jeremy Ennin, also a tear in space.
A tear in space.
Rao Utu, upgraded to annual Patreon subscriber.
Annual subscriber.
You're gonna get some money back probably eventually.
Yeah, we're gonna prorate people. After the end of the year,
sometime in December, we're gonna prorate everybody that is an annual. So hopefully you'll get as much as you can from the Patreon service. We got Jacob Taylor.
Thank you, Jacob.
Woo. Woo. Thomas Cass.
Thank you, Thomas.
Woo. Woo. This is very close to Thomas Case.
It is.
Shout out to Thomas Case.
Shout out to Thomas Case.
Worked on the show.
I'll probably see Tom in a couple weeks. I'm sure he's going to play some D&D.
Nice. Gail's Gourmet Shoe.
Thank you, Gail's Gourmet Shoe.
Thank you. Wolfkeeper 22.
Thank you, Wolfkeeper 22.
Woo. Wolfkeeper 22. Zachary Willis.
Thank you, Zachary.
Woo. Ooh, 3 words of 6.
Is that the name?
That's the name. It's the number 3 and then words of 6, all no spaces.
Thank you, 3 words of 6.
It's a capital W. Thank you. Madison Jacqueline.
Thank you, Madison.
I think it's probably just Jacqueline, but thank you. Destin Deniston.
Thank you, Destin.
That's a D&D ass name. Destin Deniston.
Thank you, Destin.
D&D. Annual subscriber, Destin Denison.
I said thank you, Destin. Oh, annual subscriber.
Yeah. Alice Maria.
Thank you, Alice.
Milk Carton 73.
Thank you, Milk Carton 73.
I hope they find you, Milk Carton 73. Second Rate Hero.
Thank you, Second Rate Hero.
It's a tear in space.
A tear in space.
Sean Mitchell.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean. And Gavin, annual subscriber Gavin.
Thank you, Gavin, annual subscriber.
Annual subscriber. Now we're moving on to the email list. If I miss you guys, I'm so sorry. This is not another.
We're trying to get them all.
Yeah. We'll figure something out if I miss a shout out. Nevin.
Thank you, Nevin.
Annual subscriber, Nevin.
Annual subscriber.
We got Ethan Chapman.
Thank you, Ethan.
For a tier in space.
A tier in space.
We got Giovanni Juarez.
Thank you, Giovanni.
Thank you. Sorry. Woo.
Woo.
Then we got Neb Elad.
Thank you,
I
Neb.
hope I said that right.
Thank you,
It's
Neb.
YLAD.
Okay.
Elad?
Yeah,
Elad. No, I'll try it. Annual subscriber, Rico.
Annual subscriber.
Thanks, Rico.
Thank you, Rico.
Annual subscriber, Gem Cutter.
Annual subscriber.
Annual subscriber, Calixto.
Annual subscriber.
We got Jaffe.
Thank you, Jaffe.
Thank you. Tier in space member, Destin Lee.
Thank you, Dustin. A tier in space.
Finally realized my Destin Lee. We got Moritz Ladstater.
Thank you, Moritz.
Moritz with a Z.
Moritz.
Thank you,
Moritz.
Ladstater. I think it's Stater. And then we got Dan the Man.
Thank you, Dan the Man.
Dan the Man is a patron. And then we got Pancake Jaw. J-A. Pancake Jaw.
Thank you, Pancake Jaw.
Thank you, Pancake Jaw. Zach Bradley.
Thank you, Zach.
Thanks, Zach Bradley. Harrison Brody upgraded from to an annual subscriber.
Annual subscriber.
Nice one. We got Gamer Down Under.
Thank you, Gamer Down Under.
Does that mean they do games in Australia?
Maybe.
That's probably what it means, right?
Yeah.
Jacob Ross.
Thank you, Jacob.
Woo! Woo! Avatar 67.
Thank you, Avatar 67.
Thank you. Derek Nelson.
Thank you, Derek.
Woo!
Woo!
We got Paul Rice.
Thank you, Paul.
That's my favorite kind of rice. It's Paul Rice. Carl Knapp.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you, Carl. Toan Lee.
Thank you, Tuan Lee.
Woo! Woo! We got Nathan Young.
Thank you, Nathan.
Woo!
Woo!
We got Spike Gray.
Thank you, Spike.
It's a cool name, Spike. Spike Gray.
Like Buffy the Vampire Slayer Spike.
Yeah, or like Spike Spiegel.
Best character from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
That's true. Tice Lawson Monk.
Thank you, Tice.
Thank you. And then we got 3 Words of Six is back.
Oh. What does that mean?
I don't know.
So nice to subscribe twice.
So
Thank you,
a
3
patron's
Words
so
from
nice
6.
they threw it down twice. Nate Welsh.
Thank you, Nate.
Thank you, Nate. Christopher Peavy.
Thank you, Christopher.
Thank you, Christopher. We got Captain Coco.
Thank you, Captain Coco.
A tier in space member.
A tier in space.
Thomas Mortensen Hansen.
Thank you, Thomas.
I don't know what denomination or what currency this is, but so I don't know what to shout you out. We're just gonna give you a woo. Woo, woo. All right. Zach Bradley. I think I doubled up on some of these that came in.
That's okay. Thank you, Zach, again.
Thank you, Zach Bradley. That's what I have. If somehow I missed you,
It was a pretty big list.
it's a chonky list.
Yeah, I think so.
Chonky list. Yeah. Second rate hero, Sean Mitchell. I think we got you guys.
I think we
last
got
time.
them all.
Milk Carton 73, Alice Maria. Yeah, we got these. Yeah, there's Destin. All right. That's okay. Let me see. We got a ton of emails from you guys. It's, the Dungeoncast funeral procession marches forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's thank you guys so much. I can't possibly read them all. That's how many came in.
Not on the show, anyway.
Not on the show. We do read them all, but like to
I know we're behind on a few too.
Yeah, to say them here is, just want to blanket. Thank you so much. We appreciate how the show has affected people over the course of its lifespan. And we want to say thank you so much one more time. It's part of it can't last forever and it's time, but thank you all so much for supporting it and for reaching out and saying all the kind things, wishing for it to go on, etc. I feel you. and we see your emails and your messages in Discord and all over the place. So thank you guys so much for reaching out. It means a lot.
Yeah, thank you guys. This show it's been a privilege to be a part of the show, and this show is very much defined and shaped the last 8 years of my life in a way that is impossible to put the words. So I could sit here and say thank you and tell you how much I appreciate everything you guys have said and all the support you've given to us, and I am saying that, but there are literally no words that I think could do it justice. You guys are as much of a part of the show as we are, and I'm very, very proud of what me and Brian have made here, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure it stays up as a resource for people, because I think the single thing I'm most proud of is how many people have reached out to tell us how much we've had a positive effect on their life, whether it was them going through something personal or getting through the pandemic or just bettering their game experience, bettering their knowledge. So thank you guys again. Every positive word has meant something to me, and you'll be seeing more of us in different locations, but this is the end of TDC.
Yeah,
and it's been a wild ride.
We're keeping the socials up so we can post about where to find us next and stuff like that. So it'll happen.
Yeah.
I'm kind of scrolling through the emails. There's just a ton of I don't even know how to vet these at this point. It's just a lot of great goodbye messages, and they've been equally positive and hard to read. Just the way it goes, kind of a mixed bag. It's sad, but it is what it is, and it's really great to see the response. Like Will was saying, we appreciate everyone that has supported. Like we said, I'm meandering at this point, but
it's all good.
Just keep an eye out. We're looking into archive.org. I'm still looking for an official word from our current network on what's going to happen with the audio feed specifically. Super Quest Saga is going to stay up. Also, we'll figure out how to archive that. That's also on YouTube.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so just keep your ear to the ground for everything else. Unhallowed is happening. It's coming out on Patreon. Starseeker's Guide to Drakenstar is on its way.
Yeah. Writing's done. We're in the design phase. I've already picked a printer. So right now our timeline is looking at mid-October to get the PDFs into everyone's hands, and then we'll start printing. And my hope is to have every printed copy out to the person who purchased it by the end of November, honestly. So it's going to be a wild ride, but we're getting it done, and I'm very excited and proud to show you guys what I've created.
Yeah. What I don't want to miss anything. The PO box is we have it till the end of the year. So if you guys send anything, I'll try to check that.
YouTube's going to stay up, but we're going to demonetize it. So hopefully no ads, but we can't control what YouTube does.
Right. And that'll be closer to the end of the year also when we shut everything down officially. So shit, we should have wrote down exactly what we need to. We already talked about Discord. You guys can find us there. If you guys have questions, our email is still open. We are telling people hey, we're not doing this at this point. The regular show's not there, but we're gonna do our best to archive everything. We'll let you know where that stuff winds up. Somebody emailed about archive.org. That's something we can look into about the podcast feed.
If there are any developments or news about any of these things, you will be able to find them on Discord or the social medias, because we will post.
Yeah, if it's a crazy amount of work, I don't know if we're gonna maybe, I don't know. I can't promise anything that is a huge uphill climb, because uploading 400 plus files and finding them all is crazy. But we've done it before. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty confident to say that there's a 99% chance we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna make sure it's archived. I don't want anybody to lose this content.
YouTube's gonna be there no matter what.
That's
so
true.
It's not like it's going away.
I'll tell you what, if YouTube goes down, we got bigger problems going on.
Yeah, the world exploded. I'm probably rebuilding the grid, so take that into account. Yeah, there was just too many. I can't even fathom the amount of emails that we got. I can't even see the visibility is gone on what emails I could possibly read.
Yeah,
we can go over YouTube comments, but I think it's a kind of a moot point at this rate. So I guess we'll just, what are we clocking at? Fucking Yeah, hour 8.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
did pretty good.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I guess it's time to say not farewell, but not goodbye. It's time to say goodbye, but not forever.
May your D20s roll balanced, and
Hell yeah.
may your Demogorgons always shout out.
Maybe that's how we should end the show. Maybe we should just do a simultaneous shout out to Demogorgon.
I thought we could just say a bunch of really weirdly inspirational things until we can't think of anything
I hope
anymore.
all your adventuring days are happy, but also not too happy because you need that XP and gold.
May your dragons act legendarily.
Yeah, but not too much because I don't want you to die.
Yeah.
Necessarily.
Do it, but not too many times.
May you find all your paths.
May your Mountain Dew never spill onto your game board. May the bindings on all your physical copies of your books remain intact.
Please.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
May your minis never break.
Yeah.
Like the dragon
or paint
turtle.
chip either. May that never happen.
Yes.
May your D&D players never cancel the game.
May your farts stay inside your body in the Underdark.
Make all your narrative moments in your D&D game hit just right.
Yes. Yes. May they all land. May your players take notes.
May your
and pay attention.
May your slippies never slip off your feet.
May your slippies keep your toes warm. That's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
absolutely.
Do we got? May Ilian Bearn one day land. They're still they're flying through the air. They have they can go into the tier in space up there. They can just hang out in the bubble. They found so many shards randomly at the end there. They'll be fine.
Yeah, maybe that's what happened. They found all the shards they needed.
They're in this weird version of heaven where it's just the two of them. They can kind of just do all the creative shit they wanted to do.
It's so true.
Yeah. May all your beholders
Be beautiful.
behold. May all your giants be tall. Yeah, I can't think of any more good ones. Let's shout out to Demogorgon.
1, 2, 3.
There's a
Shout out to Demogorgon. Let's call it a game.
He's so pissed.
The Dungeoncast.